Have you ever thought about how Eve sees good things in the thing God said would kill her? The problem is, it didn't matter how good the tree looked. What mattered is what God said about it. So let's get practical. We are in a culture that will make you believe that you have the right to decide what goodness is. That if it's fun, it must be good. If it's pleasurable, it must be good. If it doesn't harm anybody, it must be good. What if it harms God? We never asked that question. What if it grieves God's spirit? And the problem is that the only person in heaven and on earth who has the right, the authority to decide what is good and what isn't good is God. Why? Because he's God. Also because he's good.
We've talked about it a great deal over here because we have come to the understanding and the revelation that this is why Paul reiterated that she was the weaker vessel, that she failed, because clearly emotions went over logic. And that's why the pursuit of happiness, that temporal thing, is not something you go after, because it can literally kill you if you prioritize it before the things that matter, the things that should be top priority. In other words, the things that fall in the line of contentment. Because if you lose things today that make you happy, at least you are content enough to continue to work toward what purpose is. See, the serpent spoke to the baser nature of her. Narcissism, self-aggrandizement. So boredom and jealousy also galvanizes the characteristics of her. Otherwise, he could have just had a cataclysmic showdown with Adam, but he wasn't going to do that because of the strength of Adam. Because Adam had true intimacy with his creator. He had a connection like none other with his creator. And at the same time, he didn't truly understand what he had. He didn't understand the nature of the woman the way the serpent did. And so the serpent was able to speak to the baser nature, and that's why he was able to beguile her. And when he flipped a few words around, said, "You will not surely die," that was enough for her, because her happiness meant more. Those feelings, lust of the eye, the lust of the flesh, the pride of life. So that brings us to today, as she mentions that the one who's being hurt the most, and y'all always talk about church hurt. Well, the person that's hurt the most is God. The person that's hurt the most is Christ. And as I just told someone, and I tell people often, I say this often, Christ is coming back for a bride. What is the definition of a bride? Someone who is willing to be bridled. That means you are willfully submitting yourself to the higher purpose. And so there is no bridezilla. There is no, oh, she's the boss now. There is no, from this day forward, everything she says matter. All those little things that ministers say and get y'all laughing in the audience and all that different stuff. I dare y'all tell Christ in his return that he should be worshiping his bride, that it's her day. Ain't gonna happen. But it's amazing because y'all have played church so much that just like in these companies and these businesses, how y'all jump over your direct supervisors and managers and try to go right to the head. And some of these guys that are in the highest position gonna look at you crazy, and they'll be ready to let you go because you jumped over all of your people that were directly over you to come right. You didn't go into the right proper steps and the right proper channels. And that's how y'all do today. I talk about it all the time. Eve couldn't honor her God and didn't care about what he thought was good because y'all don't even care about what y'all fathers think is good. And the same way that that God can say, "I knew you before you were formed in the womb," fathers are also able to say that. They are your first lords, and y'all disrespect them and don't care what they think. So talk about church hurt. Talk about life hurt. Talk about a system formulated and created to destroy, to, denigrate and desecrate, and just, treat these fathers and these men as if they don't exist, as if they didn't carry their children with them all their lives, as if the women that they chose to be the mother of their children are not just as the mother Mary was, who carried, God's son. And she didn't let that child get here and then tell God, this is my child, I'm going to do what I want to do. But y'all use systems and courts and all kind of stuff as if those men don't have a plan for their children that they knew, that they carried in them all their lives. They back off because you continually disrespect them and try to replace them. And you don't understand God ain't happening. And the deeper you get into the scriptures, you understand just how important paternity is to God. Paternity is deeply, seriously important to him because the man is the tree. He starts everything, just like Christ, the tree, starts everything. And again, I dare y'all tell Christ when he's coming back for his bride, because he know who his bride is. Some of y'all assume y'all his bride, but he gonna let y'all know when he returns who his bride is, because he's coming back for a bride. And a lot of y'all dare sit on this earth, mistreat folks when he said you got to love the people you see to show him that you love him and honor him. That's how you show him, by loving who is here. And y'all don't even treat the ones who you carry children for. You don't even treat them right whatsoever. And you definitely, to start off, forget that person. Let's start with the man you came from. You don't treat your own fathers right. You take one side of the story, don't dare try to get his side of the story. Baby girl, to respond to your comment that we never ask God what he thinks, or we never seem to care, this generation never seems to care what he believes is good and what he thinks is good and what he says is good. They never care about what he thinks and feels. That's because they don't honor who he gave them to honor. Your first Lord, whatever man you came from. In this world, the way women can just break up families, or even you could just say mutually. Let's just do that. Let's play that game. You can say mutually, you can say the man walked away, whatever. He still is somebody who should be honored, respected, based off what the scriptures say marriage truly is. If you gave a man your body and you carried his children, you need to treat him like he's your husband as it pertains to those children. I don't care if y'all together or not. But before you do all of that, and I said it like that because I want to go back to the father you came from. Those children are privileged to raise. Those children are privileged to teach. Make it clear for all y'all that need breaks and all this other stuff. Those children are the privilege because they're the one flesh. It's an honor to raise them and to teach them. And it's very rare that you have brothers out here that are really ready and want to do it. Oh, a lot of them want to do it. However, they got to jump over hurdles and circumstances, all kind of things, and that woman don't give a doggone. And 9 out of 10, they're repeating the very things they saw, the very things they're used to. It proves that there's a mama side and a daddy side, and that child didn't ask for that. And so at the end of the day, when you disrespect your lords, your father and your husband, you're going to have an issue with God. That's the problem, baby. So continue to see a lot of dishonor, because they're already dishonoring God as is, because he said that you can't love him who you ain't never, none of y'all never laid eyes on God. You never laid eyes on him or Christ. So according to the scriptures, some people go up in that church and they act how they act all the time, and they can't stand people. They can't stand who they carry children for. Let's just say that they hate them. And you think you're going to see heaven, and God know how you treating that man. God know how you treating your own daddy. You're not going to be successful with God. I don't care how much words you send out, how many church services you go to, it don't matter. I'm telling you the straight up real. So as long as you continue to, as the scriptures say, you can't love him who you ain't seen, and then try to sit up here and you swear you love him, but you don't love who you see. Until you respect those lords, you're never going to get no headway with God. That's the problem.